Many aspects of BJP misrule, their Manuvadi Hindutva. Many aspects are spoken about, like, of course, the prejudice and hatred against minorities, both Muslims and Christians and Sikhs also. Also, their anti-poor policies, their complete antipathy to the Indian constitution and their determination to replace it with the Manusmriti. All these things are quite well known and spoken about. But one aspect of BJP's misrule is not given the attention that it deserves, and that is their attitude towards atrocities against women and those who are perpetrators of these atrocities. The thing is that it is not as if atrocities against women take place only in BJP ruled states or only after 2014. That is not the point. It has been happening before, it is happening in many states. But the point is, what is their attitude when they are in government towards perpetrators of violence and sexual assault against women, girls, and even infants? And I think that this is a very important aspect of their misrule and their attitude that should be really taken note of, because it is also giving an example to people of the uh, kind of cruel Manuvadi attitude, patriarchal attitude that they support towards women. Now, at this very moment, as I'm speaking, somebody called Asaram Bapu, who is not accused but convicted of rape of a minor girl. We were very much involved in that case. And she was a girl who was studying in one of his schools. So that is even worse, because she was in the position of somebody who was under his protection. And he was accused by her of a terrible sexual assault. And he did go to jail. He was convicted. And the Supreme Court upheld the conviction. And he tried many times to get bail, but he was refused bail. Now there's a BJP government in Rajasthan. He was in a jail in Rajasthan. He was given parole about 6 months ago for some medical treatment, and now he has been given parole again. And just yesterday, he is having a pravachan and charging 11,000 rupees to each person who is coming to that pravachan. Now, this is something really extraordinary. The Prime Minister earlier on had said that he was a devotee of Asaram's, and he never criticized him. When the case came or when he was convicted, Narendra Modi never said a single word about it. And now, as soon as his government has come in Rajasthan, they have given him parole, and he is out there addressing meetings of people who are his devotees and charging money for them, making money. And what is very important to remember is that he and his son have both been convicted of rape, actually. And both of them have used their money and their influence to bring cases against the father of that girl, the victim or the survivor, and also a man who used to be an employee in their ashram, who had actually come out giving information about the misdeeds that were occurring there. Both of these people are being harassed. There are cases against them in many, many courts in India. We are always trying to help them, right from Jammu to Mumbai to many other states. There are cases against them. So it is a fact that those who have been fighting for justice, those whose family member is the survivor, they are being harassed and persecuted, and this is a common feature in many cases, whereas the perpetrator of the crime is being given every kind of help and support by the BJP government. Now he is released on parole after the Supreme Court has refused his bail. And this is not a single case. If we look in Haryana, there's another so-called holy man called Baba Ram Rahim. He has also been convicted of rape of two young women, also of murder and some other very heinous crimes. He's been convicted. He has been sent to jail. But every time there is a election in Haryana, the BJP government releases him on parole. He is able to go back to his ashram. Many BJP leaders and people who are candidates in the election, they go to him to get his blessings, touch his feet, and he is giving public statements in favor of BJP, to vote for BJP every time there's an election in Haryana. This is something quite extraordinary. And in the same way, those people who are convicted, I think, of the worst crime against a woman and her family, that is in the Bilkis Bano case. We all know that during the riots in Gujarat 2000, Bilkis Bano, along with her family members, in which her mother and her brother's wife were also with her, they were escaping from people who were attacking them in their village. Bilkis Bano was 4 months pregnant and she had her small 3-year-old child with her. And her sister-in-law also was pregnant. She delivered a baby during their escape. But the next morning they were caught by those people who were wanting to attack them. And the most heinous crime was committed. Bilkis Bano was raped in front of her mother and her relatives and her sister-in-law. Her 3-year-old child was killed in front of her eyes. Her sister-in-law's baby, who was just not even 1 day old, was also killed. And the sister-in-law and her mother were also gang raped in front of, their relatives and their village people. And then the men who were with them, they were also killed. All of them were attacked. And Bilkis Bano was actually under 1 or 2 bodies. So they thought she's also dead. And they left her there. But she managed to escape and the police rescued her. And even her clothes were actually kept in the hospital where she was taken. It was a lady DM who took her whole statement. She knew all the people who were responsible because they were from her village. But still it took 8 years for her to fight for justice. And finally, those people, I think there were 12 and then one died, 11 of them were convicted. And first they were to be convicted, even life, the capital punishment was supposed to be given to them, then that was removed. But they were all convicted for life. And the thing was that they should not be released. They should stay in jail till the day that they die. That was the verdict. But most horrible thing happened that on 15th of August 2022, I think, when it was the 75th year of independence, just at the time when Mr. Modi was making a speech from the Red Fort saying that now women are going to be safe and they will not be in any way humiliated, at that very moment, these 11 rapist murderers were released from the Godhra jail and they were welcomed like heroes by RSS and VHP people. They were garlanded, sweets were distributed, and some of those people said they are sanskari Brahmins, so they should not be punished in this way. So I was one of the people who went in a petition to the Supreme Court saying that they should be sent back to jail. And I must say that the best lawyers in India were there fighting for us, with us, pro bono. They didn't charge a single penny. But even then, it took more than 1.5 years for this case to come to some decision. And in that 1.5 years, the central government and the state government of Gujarat, they sent their entire legal teams, their legal officers, the most expensive lawyers of the Supreme Court to fight for those 11 rapist murderers. Crores and crores of rupees were spent. But at the end of it all, we were very lucky. Bilkis Bano also then decided to be part of the whole case. And she said that when so many women are fighting for me, then I should also fight. Before that, she had been very disappointed and she had said, is this the end of justice? But she also then, her lawyer also appeared on her behalf and got a very good judgment. The judges criticized the Gujarat government also for misleading them, for telling lies. And also those criminals, they had also lied to the court. And they were sent back to jail, and they had now in jail, of course, they are getting very good treatment. They're given parole also, off and on, but at the moment, at least they've gone back to jail. But as far as the BJP is concerned, they would like to set them free, and they would not mind if they committed more crimes. It's not of any consequence to them. This is what people must understand, that at a time when we are all concerned about violence against women, this is the attitude of those who are running the central government and many state governments, that they do not just quietly try to help these rapists. They come out openly in their support, and even after they are convicted, they give them parole. And in the case of Bilkis Bano's rapists and murderers, in that case, they actually gave them redemption. They were let off completely. This is something really very horrifying, and I think it's not spoken about as much as it should. And if we go to the BJP ruled states and what is happening, I live in Uttar Pradesh and work in Uttar Pradesh. One after another, we have seen how they behave in the most terrible cases. I'll just give 2 or 3 examples. One is of that MLA, BJP MLA called Sengar, who was involved in the rape of a minor girl. And the case was registered only after the High Court intervened. And even then, that man's name was not part of the FIR till this family of the survivor tried to commit suicide in front of the chief minister's house. Only then that man's name was added. And then her father was actually killed, the girl's father, by this man and his brother, because he was also sent to jail on some cooked up charge, and in the jail he was killed. And while this man was in jail, it was very apparent that he was getting all the information from the police about what the other side is doing. And the Supreme Court has said, and I think people should understand, that the Supreme Court has said that the government of UP is not capable of giving justice. We cannot expect justice from the government of UP. This is what the Supreme Court said. And they transferred the case to Delhi, and then that BJP MLA was convicted and sentenced, and he is now in the jail. There was another terrible case in which a person called, he's also supposed to be some holy man, Swami Achyutanand, he owns many educational institutions. He was accused of very heinous crimes against a young woman who was working there in that institution. And he had been Minister for Home, State Minister for Home in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government. You can imagine, such a person was accused even earlier of a crime against a woman, so he was a serial offender, and then again in this case, but it happened, and then Corona happened, and that family was in a terrible state. We were helping them, fighting that case. We got the lawyers, but they were just not able to survive, and they were under huge pressure. So then that survivor compromised. But everybody knows that it was a compromise. Even the court said it's very unfortunate that this has happened. But the fact is that that man, who is a leading BJP former member of parliament and former Minister of State for Home in Vajpayee's ministry, such a person was accused of this heinous crime, and he used all his money and his power and his influence to get a compromise in this matter. And the government supported him to the hilt, UP government and the central government. So there are many cases like this. Recently, about a year and a half ago, in BHU, BHU has got an IIT on the campus also. So a young student was gang raped, and actually the photographs came in the CCTV, but the police didn't arrest them immediately because they were all known BJP workers. They were part of the BJP social media team and Banaras, and they were helping many leaders and ministers with their social media accounts. And only after there was a lot of pressure and the students went on dharna and there was a lot of agitation, After 1 month, they were arrested. That girl was also under a lot of pressure. The students, many of them have been rusticated, those who were protesting. And very soon after those three people were arrested, very soon after that, all of them have been released on bail. They are all out on bail. And nothing is happening in that case. Even though they're accused of gang rape, they are known to be going around drinking liquor, going on motorcycles inside the campus, harassing students, but still they are now out on bail, and nobody is bothered about what's going to happen in that case. And I think that maybe one of the worst cases in India has been the Hathras case, which I think took place in 2020. And it was the case in which a young Balmiki woman, unmarried, Balmiki is supposed to be the sanitation worker subcaste among Dalits. She was gang raped in the field, and the whole story is so horrible. Her mother found her there in that condition. With the brother, she went to the police station. The police station started, the police were laughing and saying, "You're just all doing drama." They just made that girl, she was lying down on a stone bench over there. And some people came and took some video in which she said in Hindi, "Ye mere saath zabardasti hui hai." Now that's a very common way of expressing that I have been abused and assaulted. That means something has been done against my will, forcibly. But still the FIR of rape was not lodged. After a lot of pressure, some heinous physical assault, and under SC/ST Act, only that was done. The forensic evidence was also destroyed because the medical examination was not carried out in the right way. But we all know that in such cases, the statement of the victim is very important, and especially when it was becoming apparent that she is not going to survive. I don't want to go into all the details, how much the family tried to get the rape, also be included in the FIR. But she did give a video just before she died, and she gave a statement also to a magistrate, giving the names of the people who had gang raped her. In spite of that, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, because the people who were named all belonged to his caste, which is an upper caste of the Rajput community, he said, "No, no, 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 she's lying. And this has not happened." Anyway, finally, she died, and the body was not given to the family. The police brought the body back, and they took it away and poured petrol over it, and they burnt it so that there could not be another post-mortem. That is what people believe. Now, the terrible thing is that the case went on. When the lawyer of the rape victim, the one who died, used to go to the court, she was a woman. All the lawyers of that area, many of them would come. Some were drunk. She would be abused. She would be threatened. They would shout inside the court in front of the judge, and they would threaten him also. He also would be very frightened, and he'd tell her lawyer, "You also better just keep quiet. Don't make too much fuss." That kind of atmosphere in the court. And finally, when he wrote his verdict, he said that one person is guilty of manslaughter, means not deliberately killing her by accident, and no rape took place. So the three rapists who were accused of rape were let off. Now, we have gone and visited her home on behalf of ADWA, and I just want to describe how they live. There are 15 CRP people on duty guarding them all the time. They cannot go anywhere without that escort. Even if they go to the field, those people have to come with them. So if they want to come, they'll come. If they don't want to come, they can't go to their field. They can't leave the house. If they have to go anywhere, they have to hire a car, which is very expensive, because they have to take these people with them. And they live sort of in a hut with some open space around them. And the accused, they live in a two-storied building looking down where these people are staying. That means they are always within they're visible at all times to the people who are accused of raping and killing their sister or their daughter. And the government gave only the compensation. Obviously, for 3 or 4 years they've been living. That money is all gone. They were promised a government job. They were never given that. They were promised a house, a home outside this area. That also they have not been given. And when this judgment came of the lower court, the Uttar Pradesh government did not go in appeal against it. So now they have had to go, a private lawyer has taken up the matter. But again, it's the families, people who are helping only, who are fighting for justice. The government is not helping. The government is helping those who are the accused, who are the perpetrators of this heinous crime. And this is a case in which a very poor Dalit girl has been raped and killed, and no justice is there inside. The whole family, it is as if they are the criminals because they are locked up in their home. They can't go out. The two children who are studying cannot come back. They are staying with some other relative in some other place so that they can go to school. And these people are just locked up within their little hut and their little compound. You know, it is just unbelievably inhuman. So, since I'm here in Chennai, at that time, a very well known writer from Chennai, Meena Kandasamy, she had written a very short poem. I just want to read that because it's very true. In Hathras, cops barricade a raped woman's house, hijack her corpse, set it on fire, etc. And it ends by what she says, that this has happened before and it will happen again. Sanatan is the only law that is in force in this land. Sanatan, where nothing will change. Always a victim blaming template, a rapist shielding police state, a caste denying state. I mean, this is what she had written. I think she may have written in Tamil, this may be a translation. But it's exactly true that here we are in the 21st century going into, and the kind of crimes that are taking place. I've just given you some examples. Recently, there have been even worse crimes than this. In Ayodhya, the holy city of the Ram temple, a Dalit girl has been raped and some BJP supporters are involved. Another Dalit girl had her eyes taken out, raped and killed. So the condition of women is really bad, especially in the BJP ruled states. I've not even talked about Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh is also having so many cases. And Dalits are the worst sufferers. Crimes against Dalits and Dalit women have increased even during Corona, when they went down in the rest of the country because people were at home. In Uttar Pradesh, they went up. So it's a very, very horrible situation. And the worst thing is that the government is completely with those criminals who are responsible for these rapes and murders. It is not helping the victims and the survivors. Just recently, there was a case when two young women, there's a big town called Bareilly. They went there and that girl was saying, I've been raped by two men, I know who they are. And in my local police station, they're not registering the case. And when she went to the district headquarters, some policeman outside told her, oh, nothing's going to happen here, you better go. And she committed suicide. So these things are not being made known to people. Only some of the papers in Hindi, local papers and those local channels give this news. Social media, some of it comes out. But the rest of India doesn't know. And the rest of India must know. Because everywhere people are concerned about the safety of women. One episode happened here in some college in Tamil Nadu. And we saw, and it's good, there should be a hue and cry. There should be protests. There should be a fight for justice. But what about against the BJP? Against those people who are in time and again, in incident after incident, coming out openly on the side of the rapists, on the side of the murderers, on the side of the perpetrators of the crime, not only helping them when the case is going on, but even after conviction, giving them parole, letting them come out, letting them move around in society, whether it is Rahim, or whether it is Asaram, Bapu, or whether it was the Bilkis Bano uh, uh, convicts. So this is something that people should realize. We have a very patriarchal mindset which is very strong in our society. And when people who are committed to Manuvad openly are now ruling, obviously that mindset is getting strengthened and the rights of women are being trampled upon. The terrible violence that they are facing is being ignored, and those who are inflicting this violence are being supported, defended, and helped in every way. These are things that must be discussed in our country and be more widely known among people, and people must really react and say that this is unacceptable. We cannot accept a government that behaves in this fashion.